Tom Aspinall has made a series of mysterious remarks that have rippled through the MMA community, leaving fans speculating wildly about their true significance.
Great news coming. Look at that. But he joked that he was going to be defending his interim belt. I'm pretty sure. There it is. UFC announced my fights, guys. Not me. Sorry. I'm fighting for a new belt, interim of the interim BMF UFC heavyweight title, living my best life. I think in about a month or so, I think by International Fight Week, we'll know what.
Amid the ongoing controversy surrounding the rising petition to strip Jon Jones of his heavyweight title, the timing of Aspinall's cryptic remarks has raised eyebrows. Whether it was planned or just coincidence, the way he phrased things and his tone has fueled intense speculation among fans.
But I think they just wanted that one more fight. They felt like it could be a big fight, and they're giving it their all. He gave them a number. They met the number. He said thanks, but no thanks. That's what happened. And I think he wanted, deep down, as we read the tea leaves here, I think he probably wanted them not to come to the table. And then he said, hey guys, not on me, right? I feel like that's the safest bet.
Fight.
100%.
And that's it.
And what about this? There are people who have started a petition to strip Jon Jones. We're now at 115,135 as of maybe an hour or two ago when we took the screen grab.
This was actually, we took a first screen grab an hour ago, and it was at like 113, 114, and then an hour later it was over 115.
Okay.
Wow, I signed it.
Yeah, so, but here's the thing. Jon does also bring up a good point. If Jon told the UFC like 2 months ago, hey, I'm not interested, it's no longer on him.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So, like, you remember one time I sat here and I said the UFC is not to blame? And I said that because they met the number. But now, if he tells them, hey, I'm not interested, all right, you could say, well, you're to blame because maybe you told them, hey, if you meet this number, I'm fighting. And then you could say, all right, UFC is now back to blame because he told them 2 months ago, you know, I'm out. Why didn't you give Tom Aspinall a fight? There's this whole thing. Now, I heard Dana White say recently, like, look, we got to give these guys 3 fights a year. Remember we talked about this yesterday?
And if that shift actually takes place, whether Jon Jones retires or the UFC decides to take the title from him, it could completely reshape the landscape of the division.
An idea. He was the one who delayed and delayed and delayed till Francis was out the fucking door. He could have fought Francis a long time ago. If he'd just taken the chance of going up the heavyweight earlier, we could have had him versus a prime Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez was 240. Jon Jones is 260, 265. And you're telling me Cain Velasquez was too big for him? What a load of shit. Stipe Miocic could have fought him in his prime, another one who was no bigger than Jon Jones. So when he's giving it the big and being like, oh, well, people always think someone's going to come and dethrone me. And yeah, I get the narrative. That was the way at like heavyweight. There was always that next guy coming up. But you ain't never fought an animal like Tom Aspinall, who is as quick on his feet, who has the speed that he does at 260 pounds, who has the heavy hands that he does. You have never been in there with a beast like that. It's just not happened. I'm not saying that means Aspinall wins, but for people to do the Tyson Fury thing of going, oh, well, he's always won, so therefore he always will win.
At that point, Tom Aspinall steps into the spotlight. No more waiting. No more interim status. He becomes the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion. And suddenly, the entire division's focus shifts to what comes next. That's where things get really intriguing. If Jon Jones is truly out of the equation, whether due to retirement or prolonged inactivity, one name instantly jumps to the forefront: Ciryl Gane. It's highly likely the UFC would aim to set up a showdown between Aspinall and Gane for the official heavyweight crown.
Ciryl Gane is maybe next opponent for you?
Well, he can fight Almeida first because he refused to fight with me. So now, before he jumps back in and waits for a shot, he can fight Almeida. Them guys can fight, and the winner can fight me.
Who, let's say if Jon Jones does vacate or he gets stripped or whatever and he's done fighting, who are we going to see Tommy Aspinall fight? Ciryl Gane, who just had a very questionable win, arguably lost.
Volkov, dude.
Against Volkov?
I want him to fight Volkov.
On paper, that matchup is absolutely wild. Two of the most athletic, technically skilled, and well-rounded heavyweights the sport has seen in a long time. Both fighters present unique challenges and are notoriously difficult to game plan against.
Because I am fully aware of the rumor. Now, you guys probably haven't heard this. You're probably getting this right from me. From the time this leaves my mouth to the time we get this to California, turned around and onto the internet, it's going to be about 40 minutes. So the only way I get scooped on this is if somebody hits me in 40 minutes. But the current plan right now, Tom Aspinall first is Ciryl Gane. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? For the interim championship. Now, I will back the moves.
Hey, can I ask you about Tom Aspinall real quick?
Yeah.
Do you think if he got in there against the likes of Jon Jones, do you think he's potentially got the talent to get it done?
I think he's got the talent to do it, get it done, but Jon Jones is savage, isn't he? He's unreal.
What he done against Ciryl Gane was crazy, wasn't it? Like, Cyryl's a
Ciryl
beast, isn't he? Like a fucking monster, and he just made him look like a kid.
I look at Ciryl Gane and look at Tom, and I think they're similar fighters, but Tom's just a bit faster. Do you know what I mean? Tom's a bit faster as an heavyweight.
And I think Tom's probably got the better jiu-jitsu as well, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
And better wrestling.
Yeah, I'd imagine, I've not seen loads of Ciryl Gane's jiu-jitsu, but I'd imagine Tom's is better.
Gane brings elite footwork, exceptional distance management, and surgical striking, all of which make him a nightmare for any opponent. He's elusive, composed, and masterful at breaking down his rivals without absorbing much damage. On the other hand, when it comes to sheer explosiveness and killer instinct, Tom Aspinall may have the upper hand. He closes the gap with lightning speed, arguably faster than any heavyweight in recent memory. And it's not just about rushing in. His timing is razor sharp, and once the fight goes to the mat, he's in total control.
Who's next big heavyweight star?
Tom Aspinall, the guy who just won the interim title. He's phenomenal, and he is again the next the next advancement of the evolution of the sport.
How so?
Well, because he can do everything. That guy's got elite jiu-jitsu. He's got elite takedowns. His striking is outstanding. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest, scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem because he's a heavyweight and he's a big guy, a really big guy, but he moves so fast. And so his speed has always been like extraordinary compared to other heavyweights. Like, he just fucking moves in. It's all like fast, explosive movements. So he's got natural speed, but then he's also got a lot of training to execute quickly. So when he moves in, he closes the gap. You can see like he's fast for a big guy.
Right.
I want to see it so bad.
John was shitting all over Aspinall.
He
saying
was?
that
I
he
think
was
that's
lucky.
a bad way to go.
He was lucky that he blew his knee out with Curtis Blades because Curtis was teeing off
Doing
on
well.
him. Unless John avoided him, unless John used his wrestling to avoid exchanges, you know what that's all about.
Correct. It's called the Shop Shutdown.
Shop Shutdown.
I saw a 7-part
They did with
series on
Cyborg.
it. Yes. The Stipe fight, which is just like, it's a weird thing.
Aspinall's an athlete, man. He's such a good athlete.
Freak athlete.
Very fast. Very fast for a heavyweight.
So fast.
Yeah, but we felt the same way about Ciryl Gane now.
Yeah, but
Ciryl Gane doesn't have wrestling, doesn't have jiu-jitsu. Aspinall's like legit on the ground. Very legit on the ground.
So legit that his dad owned jiu-jitsu, Jim. His dad's a black belt. He started doing jiu-jitsu at 2.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Aspinall is past the first round, right? Because we've seen him. He looks so fast. He looks, you're like, nobody moves like him. He looks like a younger Kane.
Right.
But he just keeps knocking these guys out so quick. So I'm like, let me see him past the first round to see if he has that cardio as well.
His grappling is top tier. His movement keeps opponents guessing, and his performance against someone as dangerous as Sergey Pavlovich proved just how lethal he can be when everything clicks.
See, I think pound for pound, and we won't ever find out. I think Tom Aspinall is the best. I think Tom,
who knows?
I think Tom beats him.
Who knows if John beats him? John might beat him up.
Yeah, he could.
John might take him down and fucking ragdoll him on the ground, like, you know.
John easily could, because we don't know how good John is either.
And we also don't know what happens to Tom Aspinall in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds.
He's
we
never
have
been-
zero
because no one's gotten there.
No one's even gotten close.
There's so many question marks. Like, we don't know how good John is.
Right.
You can't tell me John's the best of all time, or he is the best GOAT, but you can't tell me he's the baddest heavyweight on the planet after being an older Stipe. That's not going to do it for me.
Right.
Aspinall looks
Aspinall's
fucking
a lot-
good,
is
and he's in
bigger,
his
isn't
prime.
he?
And well, Ciryl Gane almost beat Francis. I know you can say the thing about the knee, and Jones just smoked him.
Went right through
We
him.
also didn't know fucking Ciryl Gane was a fucking 3-stripe white belt. That's news to me.
But Aspinall, so far, the way he dispatched off
The Russian guy,
oh
yeah.
my God. And he's fast, but he's the same height as me, if not an inch taller, but thick.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're a lot thicker than I would expect. And the speed, that's the thing that I'm like, okay, that's the danger. But again, grappling, he's a black belt, but John is That's different. Yeah. But I don't know, man. They got to fight. But if they don't ever fight, we'll never know. Because we had that with John and Silva. We had that with Silva and GSP. So all these fights we will never see.
There's nowhere to go for Johnny. He either has to fight me or retire now. If he does retire, everyone knows that he will have been avoiding me. I want to fight. Absolutely, I want to fight. If that's against Jon Jones or not. I'm just waiting on a date, man. Dana White's come out this week and said that Jon Jones is happy to do it. I've been in the rooms with the UFC and they've told me it's happening. I'm not chasing Jon Jones. The reason I want to fight Jon Jones is because he's got the belt. He's number one heavyweight walking around on planet Earth. But we need to find out who the guy is. If it's not Jon Jones, get out the way. I'll fight someone else. Happy days.
If Aspinall versus Gane becomes a reality, it's a true 50-50 matchup. But right now, the momentum seems to be on Tom's side. And if he manages to get past Gane, he could be on the verge of a title reign that shapes the future of the heavyweight division for years to come.
Jon Jones or Tom Aspinall. So if you don't know MMA world, sorry to bore you, but Tom Aspinall is UFC's number one right now. Jon Jones is, he's seen as the best MMA fighter on the planet. Dana White's got a massive for him, says he's unbeatable. Honestly, I think if you put Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall in a room and said one man leaves, I think Tom Aspinall leaves that room. I genuinely do. I think, and I think Jon Jones, I mean, I can't badmouth the guy. He's got an amazing record, but he's definitely ducking Tom Aspinall, 100%. And I think he's even said he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall after his next fight. He's pretty much going to retire after this fight, so he's ducking Tom Aspinall. I mean, he can say what he wants, but actions speak louder than words. So there we go. Anyway, the answer to that question is Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is kicking Jon Jones.
And of course, it's been pretty interesting, all the stuff that Jon Jones has been saying to the media this week. And I'm sure there's more to come, but check out these.
You're beating guys who aren't even champions, and you consider yourself a champion. He's not a champion.
So Jon said I need to fight more champions, but this is the problem I've got. Jon is the champion, and he won't fight me. And he says that he won't fight me because it's too much of a gamble.
Aspinall to me is no different than an Olave St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith. Be like just another up and comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And Jon, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared of losing against me.
The heavyweight landscape is evolving. Fresh contenders are emerging, and Tom Aspinall could be the one to bridge the gap between the old guard, led by legends like Jones, Myasic, and Cormier, and the next generation that's just starting to make its mark. Some see him as a potential long-term champion, while others believe he's still searching for that one career-defining moment.
See, I think pound for pound, and we won't ever find out. I think Tom Aspinall is the best. I think
who knows?
I think Tom beats him.
Who knows if Jon beats him? Jon might beat him up.
Yeah, he could.
Jon might take him down and fucking ragdoll him on the ground,
Jon easily could, because we don't know how good Jon is either.
And we also don't know what happens to Tom Aspinall in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. We have zero
because no one's gotten there.
No one's even gotten close.
There's so many question marks. Like we don't know how good Jon is.
Right.
You can't tell me Jon's the best of all time, or he is the best GOAT, but you can't tell me he's the baddest heavyweight on the planet after being an older Stipe. That's not going to do it for me.
Right.
Aspinall looks fucking good, and he's in his prime.
Yeah, but Ciryl Gane almost beat Francis. I know you can say the thing about the knee, and Jones just smoked him.
Went right through.
We also didn't know fucking Ciryl Gane was a fucking 3-stripe white belt. That's news to me.
The kind of victory that quiets every doubt and cements his legacy as the top heavyweight on the planet. And let's be real. That moment was meant to come against Jon Jones.
I bet if he's weighing 215, he would fight Tom Aspinall better than him weighing 245 pounds. In his 205 frame, he could fight Tom Aspinall better than he'd fight him at that 250 because that's not his weight class. While he didn't last long with Ciryl, he didn't look as fast. He carried more weight. Ciryl just did some weird stuff. And Jon, you don't make mistakes against Jon.
Jon Jones is a bad guy who's trying to be a good guy. If we were living 1,000 years ago, he would be on a horse with the biggest battle axe, hacking heads off, and everybody would be running. And those people have always existed. These dominators have always existed. But Jon is like a genuinely sensitive, intelligent guy who's trying to do the right thing. But he's a fucking conqueror. He's a fucking conqueror. That's the thing that's inside of him that leads him to be the GOAT.
If I start, what's going on inside Tom Aspinall's brain?
Ice cold. Nothing. Once the bell rings, I'm good to go. And when I was younger and less experienced, I used to go into a fight and I couldn't feel anything physically. The punches and kicks, they wouldn't really hurt. But now I'm a lot more well-versed. It's painful, man. Like, because I'm so calm in there, I don't have the same adrenaline as I did 5-10 years ago. Yeah, the punches hurt, punches and kicks hurt more than they used to.
The best heavyweight MMA fighter in the world. By default, that also makes you the baddest man on the planet. If you were toe-to-toe with any other man in the world, you could them.
What do they call him? SAS? He's trained to maim and hurt. These people are trained to they want to render you lifeless.
Completely agree, but I do have a counter argument. We are trained to hurt each other. That's part of the sport. They are trained to poke eyes, knee in the groin. When the rules are taken away, who's to say that we can't headbutt them? If we're talking no weapons, you could get any MMA fighter and put him against a SAS special. 9 times out of 10, the MMA guy will come out on top.
Jon Jones, one of the greatest of all time.
He's going to come back. He's going to fight Tom.
Yes. You don't think so?
No.
Really?
For what?
For glory.
He already has the glory.
Yeah, one more glory before the lights fade.
Yeah.
John's a conqueror.
He's the best of all time. No one can say the opposite of that. He's the best.
He's fucking terrifying.
Jones is the heavyweight champion. He's an incredible fighter. You know, he's incredible. He's one of the greatest of all time. I don't think he can hold a candle to Tom. I think Tom will do the same thing to Jon Jones as what he did to Marcin Tybura. I don't think there's anyone that can stop Tom Aspinall. He's that good. He's that switched on. And he's just a great guy as well.
But if Jon Jones steps away before that showdown ever takes place, Aspinall still has every chance to build a legacy of his own. One that doesn't require defeating the so-called GOAT to be undeniable.
Do you think the Aspinall-Jones fight happens?
It's got to happen. I was sitting next to Tom the other week at the UFC in London and talking to him about it.
How do you think that plays out if they fight?
I'll be honest, Tom's a friend. I love Tom. He's one of the coolest dudes in the whole of MMA. Even though Jones is getting old, I just can't pick against Jon Jones. The one thing I do think Jon Jones has got the best in the world and the best ever is his fight IQ. He has a perfect game plan to beat that person. As much as I love Tom and I want Tom to win, I couldn't pick against Jon Jones. It's just something I couldn't do.
He keeps saying he doesn't want Aspinall.
Aspinall need that fight. I don't need it. When you look at it, pretty much true. There's nothing that he's going to make winning that fight if it's not money. But for Aspinall, that will be everything.
Would you rather see him face Aspinall or would you rather see him face Pereira?
Aspinall will be a more challenging fight because Aspinall respond to a ground game better than Pereira. Aspinall will respond better in wrestling than Pereira. He can do whatever he wants.
Jon Jones will smoke Tom Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall is athletic.
Aspinall is a great fighter.
Yep.
He's a good champion.
Aspinall.
Jon Jones will smoke Aspinall.
Yeah.
Smoke him.
I can't wait to see. I hope it happens. That's the fight that needs to happen. I
Why-
think Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones needs to happen.
Why do you think there's so much friction there? Why do you think it's not happening? Why? Because we see so much.
I think Jon
on the
Jones said
internet.
he wants $30 million.
If UFC were to pay that, I'm sure they could figure out a way. You
Yeah.
think he would do it?
Of course they get paid. They just reported earnings. Give me the exact numbers what their earnings was.
UFC brought in 1.4.
1.4 billion. We're in a situation where the company wants something from Jon Jones. They want Tom Aspinall to fight Jon Jones. Jon Jones says, I would like $30 million. Can you guys pay me? Yes or no? No, Jon Jones, we can't pay you. Perfect. The fight doesn't even happen.
I think that the UFC don't like to pay that type of money because you know how hard it is to train for MMA.
Jones is the heavyweight champion. He's an incredible fighter. You know, he's incredible. He's one of the greatest of all time. I don't think he can hold a candle to Tom. I think Tom will do the same thing to Jon Jones as what he did to Marcin Tybura. I don't think there's anyone that can stop Tom Aspinall. He's that good. He's that switched on. And he's just a great guy as well.
Especially if he takes out elite contenders like Gane, Blades, and any other rising threats the UFC puts in front of him.
To beat Jon Jones, you need to have fast eyes, fast reactions, fast reflexes. And Stipe Miocic at 42 years old just doesn't have the reflexes anymore. No. That someone like a 31-year-old, I don't even think I'm in my prime yet, but almost prime fighter has.
If I'm being completely honest, I feel like Tom's been such an asshole that I don't want to do business with him. You know, it's just like his fans have been so annoying. And obviously you don't get this far in a career being affected by fans or whatnot, but he's just an asshole, you know, with his, you know, he's 30, so he's from this influencer generation where you hop online and the t-shirt sales and all that. I'm past that type of stuff. I'm like, bro, if you had a little bit more respect, then maybe we could have worked something out, you know, but I just don't even want to do business with him. You know, at the end of the day, this is a business, and fighting me gives him an opportunity to change his life forever. And I don't even want to give him the opportunity. Like he just played his cards wrong with me personally. And you know, I'm 3 years from being a 40-year-old grown man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the press conference, going through the whole shebang with him. I'd rather not do. Pereira on the other side, respectful, cool, barely says much. It's like I'll do business with you. I would risk it all with a human being like you. You actually have the accolades to back up your shit. This other guy is just a big mouth who's hot today. There's been so many guys who's hot today who are just gone. You know, Sergey was in the same position not too long ago. Now he's starting to fall off already. I've just been around this sport too long to give a big mouth who's hot today the opportunity.
So the real question is, are we witnessing a changing of the guard? Has the UFC already begun planning for a post-Jon Jones era? And has Tom Aspinall quietly emerged as the new face of heavyweight MMA without even needing